podcast in the world. The Roof Trollz.
Roof Trollz, we are back.
Back, baby.
Back, baby. As usual, one of my hosts here with me, Angelo, Saga, and we have a crazy episode today that is not like the other episodes that we normally do. As you guys can see, it's only me and him here right now, and there's a reason for that, which I'll dive into in a second. But this is going to be a podcast that if you're listening to it right now, one, you're missing out because you really need to be watching this on YouTube. But if you're listening, I need you guys to understand that this podcast is not your typical Roof Trollz podcast. This is not going to be our, stuff that we do, our little antics inside the office. And
yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah, people in our industry. This is a podcast that we've had the privilege of having a fun guest. I suppose we could even go as far as to say a celebrity, although what makes it so interesting is this person doesn't even know how impactful of a celebrity he really is due to where he's at. So, I'm just going to go ahead and just come out and say that we are honored to have Joseph Maldonado on as a guest for the Roof Trollz for this episode, and hopefully one more after this. And for those that don't know who Joseph is, you would probably know him by a different name, that name being the Tiger King. So if you are familiar with the Netflix series that came out, the documentary that has 2 seasons now, of the Tiger King, it kind of gives you a little bit of a background story on who exactly Joseph is, at least from their perspective, which is why we have him on the Roof Trollz now.
And yeah, well, before you keep going, Elijah, the intro is obviously to this. It's a very different podcast than we've had before. But you said in the beginning it's not typical. So one of the things that is in very Roof Trollz-esque is we don't mind people at being able to air out their side of things. And I think that's the one maybe caveat that Elijah didn't keep in his intro is you heard it. This man is somewhat of a celebrity. There's no two ways about that. But when you watch the Netflix documentaries, it's from somebody else's point of view. And we're going to dive into that. I know you've already had a brief couple conversations with him, actually, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, so when I had reached out to him through a buddy of ours, shout out Viking Public Adjusting, Gio. I wish I could pronounce your last name. No clue how to do it. Gio is a great dude, and he was a former guest on here as well, good friend of ours. And he actually plugged me into a post that I thought was fake to begin with Joe. Was like, hey, I'll do a podcast, whatever. So in case you guys haven't caught on to this point, Joseph has been in prison for going on almost 8 years now, which is actually, fun fact, 2 years prior to the Tiger King series coming out, which I'm sure that he'll dive into. And when I reached out to him, we went back and forth with messages, and really fun. We were at lunch, and I said, well, all right, man, because it costs a little bit of money to get him, because he's trying to put that toward his lawyer costs, of again, which we'll touch base on as the podcast unravels. And so he's currently in prison. He only has a half-hour phone call. He's going to call us. We're going to patch him in, and we're going to continue our podcast. But when I reached out to him, I said, all right, man, well, how do I know? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do I know this is real? How do I know that you're Joe Exotic, which is another name he goes by?
So really quick, so 2 things I want to make sure we put out there. So it's already a couple minutes too. So at any point we're going to get this phone call, just so if you are listening or watching, that's where that stop is going to come in. But yeah, so we were at lunch, and it was hilarious because we're sitting there, and Elijah's like, you can see it in him. He's like, hang on. And he takes the phone call. And I have to give some background to that because I was just as shocked to see your reaction.
Well, it's crazy. So I said, well, how do I know it's you? And I was like, he's like, well, I'm in prison, whatever. He's like, but I hear, he's like, send me your number right now. I'll call you. And I said, all right. So he calls, we're at lunch, and I pick the phone up, and he goes, it's me. And I was like, oh my God, dude, just like right out the gate, his voice is so like, if you know him, you know him. And I have spent the last 2 weeks, and no joke, down an extreme rabbit hole, diving into all of this stuff that he's been doing. And full disclosure, I have listened to 14 podcasts unrelated to my own that he's been on, including David Spade's podcast. I've listened to Joe Rogan speak about this guy, and I've heard all these crazy things going on in his life right now. And I was like, you know what? In true Roof Trollz fashion, we do got to bring a close to season 1. Like, it has Season 1 has to end, guys. I know you guys don't want it to, but it has to end. So,
we made.
This might be the banger to end it on, right?
Yeah, I mean, we had kind of already started closing it out for the year, just at the end of the season, and so we had a couple episodes, and then again, Elijah's like, "No, dude, we have this guy," and I'm like, "There's no chance we got freaking Joe Exotic." Like everyone that knows, that was COVID. That was what you did when COVID hit. Was like that was the thing to watch. I mean, that was I don't know if it was world phenomenon.
It was
United States for sure.
We can't. I don't want to dive too much into that because that's part of the conversation we have to have with him. I've got for the first time ever for those watching. I feel like our partner Jeff Semko, another shout out, shameless plug, Semko Law out of Schererville, Indiana. But I've got a whole questionnaire written out for this. I'm excited, dude. My brother looks at this guy as like a role model, a hero. And so many of us. I don't want to dive into it. It helped us.
No, for sure.
Helped us.
One of the cool things about it for people that watched it, and this I don't think takes away really from that, but when they intro to the show and all that, they talk about our area. So that's another region thing. So if you're familiar with this area, Roy Boy's Tattoos used to be out of Gary. He had a tiger. I mean, so this was an area that...
We had multiple. He had a monkey,
correct,
too. Yeah,
but
right
they brought it up in the show.
Gary.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's crazy. And then if you go down farther south in Indiana, which I did a big donation for to the Frederickson family when their mom passed away, there's a big cat rescue thing there. So it's very, again, just of course, why wouldn't it happen to us that we live in a state that has this huge facility for rescues? We're a town over from a guy that is very well known in the Northwest Indiana region. He's kind of has a folklore of himself for tattooing and having these animals. And now we're getting the guy that really brought a big light to all this. This is where people are like, you guys have the weirdest life, and you talk to the most random people and do the most random things, and this is one of those things. So as we kind of wait, I mean, we still got a couple more minutes. I know he's
kind of turn it down all the way too. Sorry, guys, for if you're watching or listening. It's football. We opening night for the NFL. So that's going to be on the TV while the podcast is rolling. So sorry, guys. Fantasy is life, baby.
That's true, and we don't play this week, so it should be all right.
Oh man, yeah, I am. I'm very.
What do you
excited.
think is going to be one of the biggest surprises, if you have any, at this point?
For this?
Yeah. Are you? I'm
not going to ruin it for you. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I've done, like I said, I've listened to quite a few of the ones he's been on. Yeah, and I've gotten a chance to already dive into. I too see things. I'm going to be open and honest about it. I went into this really this is going to be comical. Tiger King was comical. This is going to be something to at least laugh at a little bit. But man, some of the things hold weight, dude. Like they do. And if you do research and if you're a conspiracy person right now and you're listening to this, you're going to love this episode. Yeah. But there are some things that need to be spoken about. There are some things that need to be shed to light. Yeah. Yeah.
So from the little bit,
it's a lot of coincidences.
That's what I was actually, what I was going to say. It's the irony of the whole thing is from what you've told me about it, is there's definitely two sides to every story. And the only thing I knew about it, I didn't know half of what you already talked to me about, is I knew that it was pre-launched, right? I knew something had already happened to him, and then they launched the seasons. That was really all I had. And so again, everything you and I have already talked about with it is I'm like, there might be something here. You can't say it's not. It's one of those. Elijah hits it on the head. If you're into conspiracies, you can definitely go down a rabbit hole with this guy and what's happened to him over the course of these last few years. Almost almost 10 years of this guy's life has been pretty crazy. And
it's funny and worth it too anyway, just because the fact that he's making phone calls from prison. You know what I'm saying? He's in jail. And he posts so much. The guy posts more than I do. He's in jail right now.
And if you know Elijah, he posts a lot.
So. Oh yeah, it's absolutely crazy.
That's so funny, man.
Waiting for him to patch in now. But I'm really excited, and he's pushing for a lot of stuff right now. And again, I want to wait for him to get on to talk about all that stuff. But
it's going to be good
for a guy in jail. He's got a busy life right now,
which is also crazy. Which not to go down that road, but it's wild that you can be in jail and have that busy of a life.
Crazy. So I messaged him. So we'll see how long it takes him to connect into here. But I'm excited, man.
God, I'll be honest though. Also, if he scammed us for a couple bucks, that'd be even funnier.
Dude, what? I could talk about that real quick before he calls in. So I don't think he's going to do that. I do believe he's going to come through with this.
For sure.
He's been on so many of them. So it wasn't a lot of money. And I was supposed to send it to him, but I don't have PayPal. So another shout out, Mike Cortez, National Adjusters. I said, Cortez, you got PayPal? And he goes, yeah. I said, send Joe $100, whatever. And he's like, okay. So he sends it into him, and he sends it into the
PayPal.
Yeah, through PayPal, and he accepts it. He verifies he got it. Oh, he's coming in right now. Long story short, I didn't pay Cortez until he showed up.
What's up?
Hey, Joe, how are you?
Amazing.
Hanging in there, man.
I got my co-host with me, Angelo Saya, and
Okay.
yeah, man, we are so. First off, thank you for joining us. Thank you for not ripping me off. I'm just kidding with you.
I appreciate you giving me a voice, man.
Oh, dude, 100%. And I was just sharing with them that I have taken the liberty in the last couple weeks myself to dive down the rabbit hole of which you are unfortunately in. And I mean, I've listened to 14 podcasts with you. I've watched the show. Obviously, that got us all through a very tough time of COVID. And I'm sorry it was at your expense. But I want to dive into this, man. I want to get into a couple episodes with you, even maybe do this next week. But
Okay.
Let's take it off from the top. Like, what do you want to start with? Because we got a lot to get into in a half hour.
You tell me, buddy. You tell me. Did you get a chance to go look at the website?
So I briefly zoomed over your website. Your evidence on some things is unbelievable. The fact that Carole can get on a jury stand and admit to perjury, but still not even have that looked at, to have nobody investigate that is overwhelming.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and to put you in a position, you're a celebrity and you don't even know it. I mean, I don't think a lot of people realize that. Like, you probably see a little bit of love in there, but out here, you'd be making so much money, Joe.
I know. And after they all admitted to perjury on world television, why am I still here?
It's sad, man. And then I saw so your official charges, correct me if I'm wrong, is it 18 or 19 charges of wildlife endangerment?
Okay. 18 charges are violating the Endangered Species Act and the Lacey Act, which I'm linked. Like I tell everybody, I'm doing federal prison time because my vet marked the wrong box on a health certificate.
And,
that's wild. And
correct me if I'm wrong real fast while we're on that subject. The tigers that went to another area right now, I forget where that exactly where they were shipped to, but they're attempting to fix those tigers. And what makes this interesting is they're considered endangered, but they're telling you they can fix them for what reason? Can you explain that situation?
Yeah. Okay. No. If I have to, we'll do some more time. But I want everybody to understand. Okay, I filed a lawsuit against Black Pines Animal Sanctuary because they were advertising that they were neutering my tiger. Okay, well, under the Endangered Species Act, the word "take" is to harm, harass, hunt, shoot, kill, collect, or capture any endangered species. Okay, well, they charged me, those 5 tigers that I put to sleep with a gun, it was in my protocol, perfectly legal. They didn't charge me with animal abuse. They charged me with taking 5 endangered species without a permit under the word take, to hunt, shoot, kill, capture, collect, or whatever, harass. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so if I have to have a permit and they're gonna put me in prison under the word take, for harass and harm, cutting the nuts off is killing the species, okay? And if you're not harming them by tranquilizing them, cutting their nuts off and making them go through seizures and convulsions with tranquilizer medicine, God damn it, that don't fit the word take, nothing does, right?
Yeah.
So I filed that lawsuit. Okay, then they come back and you gotta keep in mind a lot of everything that you put out there, especially Jeff Lowe. You can put something out there about Jeff Lowe, and he has such a temper and a want to be in the public eye that he posts his shit without realizing what he's posting, and it gives people time to screenshot it before he deletes them. Okay, so Black Pines turned around and one of the somebody posted on their thing on, I think it was Interest or Reddit or the Google reviews. Anyway, posted on there that they were being sued. Okay, and they posted a comeback that these tigers have no conservation value. White tigers are man-made, and orange tigers are generic tigers, and they're so inbred that they should be all spayed and neutered, which is exactly what I needed them to do, because you can't have an endangered species that is man-made. You can't have an endangered species that has no conservation value. And if they're all inbred and have no conservation value, they need to be off the endangered species list. Okay? So either way, I'm going to win this lawsuit. They either have to follow the exact same laws that they put me in prison for, which means no more lions in Colorado, Michigan, India, wherever it snows. Okay? No more endangered animals in an environment that they don't naturally belong in, because that's harassing them and harming them. Okay? Animals in captivity that they refuse to allow to breed is harming and harassing them, because that's their natural behavior, and they're being kept from being able to have natural behavior. So, we're gonna really disrupt the sanctuary system, and I'm gonna in court demand that these animals are all sent back to their natural environment, in sanctuaries in Africa, India, and so on. Okay, or they have to remove them from the endangered species list in America, which will get rid of 18 of my charges.
Yeah, no, that's why I thought it was interesting, because of that reason alone, that if they did, like you said, if they went by the book and they were honest about everything, then you would be entitled to have all of those charges dropped. Now, the other charge, I'm comfortable with just out asking you. We got you on the podcast. Let me just be blunt about it. Did you try to have Carole killed?
No. Okay. And Alan, if you watched his videos of talking to my attorney, John Phillips, Alan point blank tells my lawyer and signs an affidavit. And I haven't watched season 2 on Tiger King, but I believe he got on world television and admitted that he made that all up.
So he did very something similar, and I have an interesting point that you actually made on a podcast you were on, where you stated that you were in there for conspiracy to commit murder against Carole. However, these guys are on live TV,
world television, admitting that they had a plan to kill me, and they're walking free.
Yeah, is that not conspiracy to commit murder?
Yeah.
I mean, is that not the same thing?
So this whole thing sounds crazy to me. So Joe,
it is
Angelo.
crazy. It is crazy.
I want to ask really quick. So again, I've been hearing all this. I've done a little bit of the research, not nearly as much as Elijah. You did get me through a time, and again, it is unfortunate that was due to your expense, which the world didn't realize till after the fact. But why do you think all this has happened? Like, why do you think that they're making you the scapegoat with this? Because again, when you looked at what you just said about animal sanctuaries and big cat rescues, it sounds to me that in some ways you were trying to just help. You weren't trying to necessarily exploit anything, and then these other individuals kind of took it upon themselves to make you the bad guy, and now they're walking free talking about it.
Okay. Real quick, let me put that all in perspective for you. Okay, in 2016, generic tigers were not on the endangered species, and what they call a generic tiger is an American tiger that is inbred, or crossbred. Right now, I have real issue with any of that, because in the wild, there's no way that they're not inbred too, okay? Because lions live in prides, okay? So they're all having sex with each other, right? And you can't tell me that a father tiger doesn't run into his daughter 6 years later and breeds in the wild. It's got to happen, okay?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
They don't have name tags that says, "Hey, I'm related to you," okay? And it's just People are so stupid. All right. But hell, I forgot where we're at. Okay. And so in 2016, Carole Baskin, okay, in the early 2000s, she came up with this organization called the Global Federation of Animal Sanctuaries. And I have her 20-year plan written out of her office, okay? And her 20-year plan was to put everybody out of business except anybody that was accredited by Global Federation of Animal Sanctuary. Okay, so in 2016, she partners up with Dan Ash, who is the president of the AZA and the director of the Federal Fish and Wildlife. Okay, so they create this Big Cat Safety Act bill, and it exempts the AZA and the Global Federation of Animal Sanctuary. So the next problem is they have to get public comments in order to get them put on the endangered species list. So Carole runs an ad for $3 and $5 per comment to get people to go flood the Federal Wildlife Service website with comments asking for generic tigers to be on the endangered species list. And I have screenshots of all this, okay? Mm-hmm. And that's why they arrested me and held me without bond and kept me in solitary confinement, so I couldn't help find any of this for my trial. All right. So they get in August of 2016, they get the genetic tigers on the endangered species list. Then they start an investigation on me because I was the largest in the world for breeding tigers. I had 260 tigers, and I supplied every zoo with free tigers, so they didn't have to go buy them or get them out of the wild. Okay,
yeah,
because the AZA specializes in wild caught animals. Okay, so it was basically to monopolize the tiger industry. Okay, so Carole sues me, okay, for 10 and 11 years. She sues me. She gets $1 million judgment for some chicken shit copyright case. Okay, well, she couldn't figure out how to collect that $1 million because Joe kept hauling scrap iron to pay lawyer bills. Okay, I'd do whatever I had to do to pay lawyer bills to keep her from collecting that $1 million. All right, so she couldn't get anywhere. So her, Jeff Lowe, James Garrison, the federal wildlife agent that was working for them back in 2016, my niece, Chelsea, all got together and conspired this murder for hire charge. Okay? And I have all their cell phones now. And they're all on that link if you go to my website.
Yep. So
Okay.
I did see some of the footage and stuff. I saw you had 700 recordings, correct?
Yeah. The text messages are all there about how, they got to get me put in prison or they're all going to lose everything or whatever, Okay, so they put me in prison, hold me without bond. My own niece testifies at my bond hearing to keep me in prison. They separate my mom and dad. My mom and dad were in their 80s, and I took care of them at their house all the time. Well, they got the power of attorney away from me, separated my mom and dad, put them in separate nursing homes so they couldn't talk. My niece took my mom's house and property and everything she had in Kansas. She had mineral rights, farmland, everything. And then she signs the zoo over to Carole. And that's how Carole got the zoo.
So one of the things that's for people listening to that, and a lot of people may not know how big this really gets. You mentioned the Big Cat Safety Act, which I actually had on my list to talk about, and there's a big part in that you kind of left out. Who co-signed that bill with Carole?
Okay, Kamala Harris.
Unreal.
Yeah,
and she sent that up to, she sent that up to Joe, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
And then, and I don't know if you've ever seen the screenshots, but we have screenshots of Kamala Harris bragging on her Twitter.
I did. And I'm probably the right person to talk to about that anyway. But what's interesting though, is that your whole pursuit right now, if we can't go back to a retrial, which by the way, I'm on record right now saying that you definitely deserve with the evidence you have, but let's just say we can't go to the retrial. What are you're trying to pardon from Donald Trump, correct?
Well, I would love a pardon, but have a clemency application at the White House. All I want is time served, no probation. Let me go. I'll put this all behind me. I can become a millionaire as a felon because I don't do any drugs. I don't need to carry a gun.
Well, you could become president as a felon.
Fucking yeah, you know? Yeah. I mean, come on. He's got 34 felonies of his own.
Yeah.
So I will take time served. Okay, now the good part is 2 weeks ago, the U.S. Pardon Office contacted my lawyers, said that my clemency was under investigation, and then 2 Sundays ago, my counsel called me in the office, and he got an email from the Pardon Office wanting a status report on me, which he showed me what he sent back, and that was I've done 20 classes. I've completed 20 classes in the last 6 months. I have not been in trouble in over 2 years. The only time I was in trouble then was because somebody took a picture of me. And then my out date is in 5 years. So, and I've never disrespected any of the staff. So he recommended that they cut me loose. And none of the staff thinks I belong here. Because, they've seen the show and they watch all the evidence.
Well, not even just based off the show, just you don't seem like, I mean, I don't know you personally, but you don't seem like a bad guy. And even while watching Tiger King, where I'm just going to be out and honest with that too, they make you look like a raging meth head who was supplying young boys with drugs to have sex with. I'm just telling you what it looked like to everybody watching.
I watched it for the first time about 8 months ago, and I was pretty disgusted myself. Okay. But if you think back in the show, the dude that smoked cigarette all the time with the leather hat.
Yep.
Rick Kirkham.
Yep. Rick. He was a famous TV reporter prior to that. He's the one that edited that whole thing, correct?
He's the one that burned my studio down. Right. Okay.
Yep.
He is the one who scripted everything you saw on me on Tiger King was filmed by Rick Kirkham.
Yep.
Okay. Before Tiger King. Yep. I never even filmed for Tiger King.
It was the TV network show you had at night, right? On
JoeExoticTV.com.
Yes. Okay. And I actually did get to watch some of those too.
So all of that was scripted for a reality show. That wasn't even the real meeting, okay? That was all scripted. And then that piece of shit gets on Tiger King and claims, "Oh, this guy's fucking a lunatic."
Joe, I want to pause really quick. So I want to just be clear when you say this. So what people saw on Tiger King was you acting based on a script given to you by someone that was in there.
No. He had his own show. He used
Correct.
to. No, Joe did.
Right.
Yes.
And they took that footage off his YouTube after he was sent away.
But like you said, it was scripted though. So this was all like an act.
He did it to be funny. Yeah.
Agreed. But people don't know that.
See, people don't realize that in my studio, my TV studio, God, we had full sound people, we had sound techs, we had monitors, we had teleprompters, we had earbuds. It was a regular television station. Okay, it wasn't just Joe sitting there with a webcam acting a fool. And the fight between me and Carole wasn't as bad as everybody thinks it was, okay? She built a website called Animal Abuse 911. I was her most wanted because she said that taking baby tigers away from their moms was animal abuse. And that's how she made money, was she got her followers brainwashed to give her money to stop Joe from breeding tigers. Okay, well, Joe made money on JoeExoticTV.com, getting my followers to understand that she batshit crazy and she killed her husband.
Yeah, so we're gonna get to that part now. While we're talking about the crazy part, the husband part, we're gonna get to because I actually have some questions about that as well.
So that was the extent of our fight. Really, it was just I never even met Carole, seen her face to face until my trial.
Well, that's crazy. Even the fact that you just saw Tiger King eight months ago is mind blowing. But So Carole's not innocent in this whole thing by any means, by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah,
hell no.
And you brought up her being batshit crazy, and I have to ask this because I heard a clip from this. I was not able to get the full episode. But if I'm understanding this correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, you said that Carole actually performed a sex change on a tiger. Is this a real thing?
It is a real thing. Did you not see that on her own website?
No, I didn't. I don't. I'll be fully honest with you. I didn't even care to go down the rabbit hole of her side of it. I kind of was like going all in on yours because I'd like to hear. I'd like to hear what you have to say about it. I think the world saw who Carole was when she sold her whole land, for profit, and what is 60 million or 600 million or something like that. Yeah. So she made money. She's okay.
Oh yeah.
This is incredible. Like,
but I want to hear about the tiger. Like, how did that go about, Joe? How did the sex change happen with the tiger?
Okay, look, they all want to say that there's so many tigers in America, all right? Yeah, that they have to go to Peru to rescue tigers. Okay? That the American people are so stupid that they believe anything without doing any of their homework. Mm-hmm. All right? So she rescued these tigers from Peru, which basically, okay, when I get out of here, I have everything on my computers and hard drive. Okay, I am going to show the world how many sanctuaries bought baby tigers from me so they could say they rescued them to scam the public. Okay, that's just how this business works. So Carole will bring in a tiger from Peru. And she'll get on Facebook and everywhere else and say, oh, my God, we got to raise $20,000 to rescue this tiger from this circus in Peru. They get it over here, and then the damn thing needs a sex change because its penis exploded up or some shit. Okay, now we got to raise money to do a sex change on this tiger and turn it into a female so it can pee.
Hey, is that biologically even possible? So it's just...
I think this is the first one. She performed the first one.
She performed the first one, right? Okay, his name was Hoover. Okay, it's just crazy, dude.
This is crazy, man.
And if you Google Big Cat Rescue Hoover Tiger Sex Change, it'll come up. All right.
Yeah, it's absolutely wild. So,
go ahead.
So
they changed the sex of this tiger. Okay. They raise all this money, get him from Peru, doing the sex change and everything else. And 2 weeks later, he has to be euthanized because he has cancer. Oh. And that was Carole's scam, was operating on live Facebook on animals that didn't need operated on. And if you Google her Big Cat Rescue Memorial page, there's over 220 last time I saw it. It was over 226 dead cats. All right. And every animal that she ever operated on died after she got done raising money on it because that was Carole's scam.
This is incredible. Joe, I want to ask you really quick about tigers really quick. What's the average lifespan of a tiger?
All right. In the wild, 10 years. Okay. In captivity, 14 to 16.
Got it.
Those 5 that I put to sleep were 23.
And that's what I thought Elijah.
Yeah, so I was sharing that with him, that was something that shows that you genuinely cared about the tigers. And I know about your brother being in his terrible, what happened to him, and that kind of inspired you to get into where you're at right now. But I just wanted to go back real quick. So what you're basically saying right now is that, like, so Brookfield Zoo, for example, or Lincoln Park, that we're right outside of Chicago. So when we go to these sanctuaries and we see these tigers in there and they have these memorial plaques on there and they're like rescued from, wherever, East Asia or whatever. So you're meaning to tell me that they bought those tigers and they're pretending that whole background, it's all made up?
They didn't rescue those tigers. Okay. That's just like right now. Colorado Wildlife, Pat Craig out there that's got some of my tigers. The place that I'm suing, Carolina Tiger Rescue. They've got my tigers scattered all over America at Global Federation Animal Sanctuary places, raising money and charging people $50 a head to see Joe Exotic's tigers that they rescued. Okay, they didn't rescue shit from me. They put me in jail, they closed me down, they took my animals. Okay, and that's the same way that they do circuses. It's the same way that they do private owners. You know when I was running my zoo and people started calling me the Tiger King because I went and got more tigers that I had to use semi-cattle trucks, okay? Because I would go get 42 at a time. Not one in the history of me rescuing tigers ever came from a private owner. They all came from sanctuaries that turned out to be hoarders.
Well, yeah. So, Joe, I have a little bit of experience with that. So, again, we're from Indiana, and if you go south a few hours here, there is a big cat rescue facility down there. And I'm just like, I'm so engulfed now with your story in this because, you know, I raised money for a close friend of mine's mom who had passed away, and we thought, hey, this is a good place to do that. And then we dive into your story and what these things can really mean, and I'm like, it's all, you know, was it all a facade? I'm just helping for what? And, you know, you feel for these animals.
You will never, ever find anywhere that I called my place a sanctuary. Okay, because I was a zoo, open to the public. I bred, I just took in unwanted animals. And, you know, I ended up with those chimpanzees, 37 different primates, 260 tigers. I had lions. I had zebras. I had camel. I had everything. And, you know, I didn't pay for one animal ever.
This is incredible, man.
Okay.
I want to make sure we get you to be talk on at least one thing. You know, if you, what is it that you want to share with, you know, at least our audience or whoever, you know, we can reach us out to, because I know you're limited on time, and I want to make sure you get your, you know, your message out there, man.
Okay. One thing that I just want to clear up and make sure everybody understands this. I have no animal abuse charges or animal cruelty charges. I've never been accused of. I've never been charged with. Okay. All of the animal charges that I have are strictly paper charges, right? And that's shit that I didn't even do. And that's all on the evidence link, okay? But what disgusts me the most about all of this is I built that zoo with my mom and dad as a memorial park, okay? For my brother and for people around the world who also lost a child or a wife or a husband, okay? And that zoo represented 151 memorials. People from all over the world built those cages for those animals in memory of somebody that they've lost, a human being. And 3 people's ashes were buried under their memorials. And one of them was a 21-year-old Indian kid from Ardmore, Oklahoma, named Jared Hurley. And to disgrace that zoo and leave it the way it is now, abandoned and tore up and foul words wrote all over the buildings and shit. Jeff and Carole and everybody involved has some horrible, horrible, bad aura around them, because that's like going over to a cemetery and kicking over headstones, dude, in my opinion. And if anything disgusts me the worst is all of those people that put their trust in me to represent their loved ones that passed away are right now.
Hey, Joe, you there still?
Oh, you cut off. All right. So yeah. Oh, Joe, you there? Okay, there? Cool. We thought we lost you for a minute.
No.
Okay. Yeah. So do you have a place where people can help you too, though? I mean, do you have like, what's a good place to send money? What's a good place to send cards? How do people get in touch with you?
There's a donate. Everything's on my website, joeexoticofficial.com. There's a donate place there. You can donate several different ways. They'll help with the lawyers through PayPal, Venmo, or whatever. There's also the directions of how to write me. With all of the directions, you can only use white paper. You can only write on one side. All that is on the website, joeexoticofficial.com. Okay. Or you can, if you want to just buy something off the website so that way you get something in return for your money that you're helping with, go buy some gear, because I've got some pretty fun stuff on there.
Nice. And how much time do we have left? Because I do have a couple questions.
It's like 3 or 4 minutes. Things should be hanging up.
All right, let's go through them real quickly.
Okay.
So Carole Baskin's, I think we both agree that she killed her husband. So what clause did she put in there when she made this? I think people need to hear about that. What'd she put in this will, and how long?
I investigated that for almost 10 years. And I have her original diary, which she hated that man. I have the original power of attorney Carole designed, real quick, follow me on this. Carole designed Don's power of attorney. On the second page, it literally says this instrument's designed by Carole Lewis. All right. In the first paragraph, first sentence, it says, in case of my disappearance. Who the hell does that? All right. When you write up a power of attorney or a will, you put, upon my death, I hereby leave, okay? Or something in that sort. Don says, in case of my disappearance. It is notarized by Ann. It is witnessed by Carole, and it is signed by Don Lewis. In 1997, Carole had that, took it to the courthouse and had it an official document. She filed it with the court. 3 months later, she reports him missing. Okay? Doesn't try and find him. Did you ever see anywhere where she ran ads, help me find my husband?
Nope.
Anything like that? Nope. Okay, so her brother is the sheriff that investigates the case, right? And then when the three daughters want the meat grinder DNA tested, the meat grinder comes up missing, stolen the next day. Which I believe until the time she sold that property, that meat grinder was in that pond at Big Cat Rescue, because Carole built a cage around that pond so nobody could get in that water. All right. So 4 years later, Carole has him declared dead in a federal court and collects $6 million, okay, on all of his estate and money. And his daughters got absolutely nothing. Okay. So Tiger King comes out, and the Hillsborough County Sheriff gets on world television and says that they proved that Don's signature was forged, right?
Yep.
Okay. So if Carole designed it, Carole witnessed him signing it and notarized it. If it's forged, she had to know who forged it. Okay. And if it's forged and the sheriff proved it was forged, and now Carole wants to put a rumor out in world news that he was seen alive in Costa Rica, why the hell didn't she have to give that $6 million back?
That's a good point. That's a very good point. No, I agree with you. Plus, we all know that's not him anyway.
Or make me a public lawyer and arrest her for fraud, and let me convince a jury that she designed it. She signed it as a witness while he signed it. If the sheriff proved it's forgery, she declared him dead. She got the $6 million. So let's put her in prison for fraud.
Oh, no, I agree 100%. And I'm going to message you, too, when they kick you off here, because I'd like to get you on again so we can go down the rabbit hole with Jeff Lowe, because I, too, believe that with the overmounting evidence that we've gone through, I, too, believe that Jeff Lowe, may have blackmailed Alan as well during this whole process.
I only got like a minute and a half. Really quick about Alan, okay? Alan worked for Jeff for years before they ever came to Myesville, all right? And them two are like peanut butter and chocolate as far as doing crimes. And they burned Jeff Johnson's house in Norman, Oklahoma. Jeff stole a bunch of stuff from Joe Barth in South Carolina, burned his house because all the titles and everything was in his house. Jeff said, look, you're going to do this for me or I'm going to turn you in, okay, for all this other stuff. Because, Jeff was arrested and convicted with $14 million wire fraud, never spent a day in jail. So he's an FBI rat. He has to be.
Yeah. And there's a lot to dive down on that one. That would require another call, but I'd like to set that up with you. And, hopefully they do release you here soon before you get off here. Cause you're due a beer with us. I'd love to have you in here, sit down and really dial in on all this stuff.
Right. We're going to make when I make it out of here, we're going to make a show and we're going to do it the right way. We're not going to pay a bunch of people to talk a bunch of shit. But, hey guys, the thing beep, which means it's going to hang up. I just want to say thanks for having me. Get everybody on joeexoticofficial.com. Look at the evidence. Help me out with some gear and stuff because I didn't make a dime from Tiger King. They made sure of that. So this has been a struggle. And in 3 days, that makes me going on 8 years in here.
Man.
So help me get out of here.
I hope you sue Netflix, and I hope you win.
Yep, we got
All right,
you, man.
guys.
All right, Joe. Take it easy, brother.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Yep, thank you.
I don't even know.
It's crazy, bro. When you really dive into it. So when I first messaged him, I had so many people that were like, "Oh, you're a piece of shit. You shouldn't be talking to him. He tried to have somebody killed." First off, it's allegedly. Let's just throw that out there right now. Secondly, again, and I think everybody listening that just heard that call, there's something that tells you that he's not an evil person. Like there's just something there. Now, did he do some wrong? You're damn right he did.
Probably.
He was not in his position if he didn't do some wrong. He knows that too. But did he do 8 years in prison wrong? I don't think so.
No, man. It's wild. Again, if you're into conspiracies, the conspire against this guy is what's so incredible.
Hey, DJ's gonna love this episode.
Well, that's what's so tough is like there's so many things you want to talk to him about and try to have him clear up from his side because I'm not saying the guy's a genius, but one thing I can tell you is he clearly knows about tigers and these animals.
Well, wildlife in general, it's not just tigers.
Yeah.
Someone on the podcast had him on and they were talking about the new, what's the chimpanzee show on Netflix? Chimp Life or whatever?
I think, yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
he knew people in it. He knew, like, he actually knew them. That's the crazy thing about him is, like, we didn't get to dive into all that. But he sold tigers to Shaquille O'Neal. He sold tigers to princes and kings.
Yeah.
He sold tigers to Cincinnati Zoo, Denver's, like, a whole bunch of zoos.
No, it seems like, yeah, he, sure, was there some profit there for him? Yeah, I mean, everyone's in business for a reason. But at the end of the day, it seems like he was still trying to do right, at least by the animal in some weird way. And again, when you look at the federations and all that are now able to, keep these animals, but then again, he wasn't in the time that it seems like he was trying to do the right thing. It's a wild story. This is incredible. It's incredible that we had the opportunity to talk to him. And I do hope we can bring him on again so we can kind of continue it because it's just wild.
We have to get him on again because the Jeff Lowe stuff is where it gets really crazy. And people, like I said, DJ who listen to this and people who I know are in conspiracies and stuff, or even people who are, there's fanatics out there for Joe Exotic. I didn't get to dive into that with him either. That guy does not know how much of a celebrity he truly is outside of those bars. Dude, he's been on David Spade's podcast. Like I said, Joe Rogan's talked about him. I mean, he's on the Roof Trollz. You got to be a star to be on the Roof Trollz.
No, absolutely.
Like, the guy is never ever. If he's sitting in there, he's never, ever going to reach the full potential. And that's what I think is probably the most crazy part is the amount of money that he makes right now if he's out. Like the amount of money that he can make just popping on a TV show or appearing as a guest or just anything in real life. He would be paid handsomely for that. And I got to believe that there would already be TV shows out there. There's, E channel's probably just waiting.
TMZ.
For a spinoff of it. Yeah, he'd be all over TMZ. So this guy, and truthfully, he's probably got some outs on a few people that don't want him to come out here because I didn't realize how big the big cat, is in this world. Like, if you got money, apparently, aiming for a racehorse or a yacht or something small, we should be buying tigers apparently. So I didn't know there was that big of a market for it.
Yeah, man, it's incredible. But yeah, I'm flabbergasted by it. It's just, you were really funny for bringing Kamala Harris into it. I did laugh about that. I chuckled a little bit.
I took a shot at Trump too.
I know, it was funny.
Yeah.
I'm a little taken back and that's not like me, but I just don't even
I told you were going to be afterward, it's going to be crazy when you talk to him because he just leaves it. It just so much. First off,
there's some truth in his voice.
Yes, you can hear the emotion. You can hear the emotion in it. You just know, dude,
I don't know.
He's not lying about some of it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know all what's true.
Well, we're never going to know.
I know
either,
that,
though. Yeah.
but that's the crazy part.
To me, though, there's more evidence that would suggest that Carole.
Even on the show,
things wrong than he did. But
when you stop watching the show and everything's over, you're like, she for sure fucked up. She did something wrong. This is crazy.
It is crazy. And 8 years later, then he said 8 months ago, is the first time he
got to
even watch it. Well, not got to. He didn't want to watch it.
Yeah.
Because it did paint him out to be a meth head. So that part sucks. But and even I wanted to tell him too, like even with how bad they portrayed you, I think all of us at the end of Tiger King found ourselves like, man, it's Team Joe. Like it's Team Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And Kirkland did make it. Kirkland or whatever his name is, he did make it more of a Joe versus Carole thing. And I didn't know that he had never met her before the trial. Like that's crazy too, to be sued for 7 figures over 11 years and never have even face to face with the person. That's a wild connection too. Just a bitter rival, putting him on that page. But yeah, his website is overwhelming, is why I didn't get to go through everything. When he had asked if I'd been on there, I've been on there a few times, but man, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. And he kind of has some of the stuff spread out to where like, you got to like really know, like what you're reading before you can go down those rabbit holes. And then some of it's confusing, but yeah, it is, there's a lot of big people involved in it, which I think is part of the large reason why he's still in the position he's in right now, because he knows so many people that are doing things wrong. And yeah, on his end, after you served 8 years and everybody left you to the wayside, you probably do want to start singing a little bit. Yeah. So,
well, I mean, that's the thing though, even in the beginning, and, he actually says, he's just trying to get, and I don't care that this is Trump thing. He's like, I just want to be released. I'm willing to, basically he says, I want bygones to be bygones. I'm just like, I'm giving up my life.
He's got millions of dollars waiting for him.
Correct.
But he knows that he don't need to be paid out. Just like, let the man go.
No, exactly. Like he's like basically saying, I'm not trying to sue people. I just like, I need my life back.
And then if I remember correctly, he's 62 years old, and I do believe he has lung cancer.
Jesus.
Yeah, so I know he's battling that too. But I don't think he's in like a prison though, because thankfully, because of Tiger King, I believe that he's the way he described it on one of his podcasts is he's in like a dorm, and he gets 24-hour like free roam. He doesn't have to go to no bars or anything like that. And he's got a fiance in there and all that stuff, so he's got all that shit going on. And he said the guards are pretty cool with him, and he can walk around and stuff all night, so that's cool. I mean,
it's
they
white
probably
collar.
know he's
white collar prison.
Yeah.
But still, man, just incredible story. Again, there's so much to dive into. Hopefully there's maybe a part 2 to this. Don't know if there will be. But this was probably one of the best podcasts I've ever been a part of in any way, shape, or form. That was, man, I wish the guy, honestly, some luck in this. I hope the truth comes out, and I hope he can at least get justice to where he can get some of his life back, man. That's just, it's just a super sad circumstance. And yeah, that's just crazy. The whole thing, man.
It is, dude. And, oh, man. To have him on here was cool. But, yeah, there's just so much we didn't get to even, I only went through half of the list that I had to go down with him. But I'm going
to check out his gear.
Me too.
At least take a look. And, I mean, if anyone is listening, man, check it out. I mean, you're helping a guy that you watched his show, not even realizing that he was in prison while you were watching his show. That it's just wild. And then to not even have any type of compensation for something that he was a part of.
And then hopefully with the edits and stuff, by the time this comes out, we're probably going to end it here to get off the Roof Trollz right now. But we'll hopefully put up a music video of Joe's, and maybe have some of his info from his website we'll put on here so you could showcase where to mail him at. Because at the very least, guys, if you're a fan, keep in mind, dude, 8 years, but that's a long time for anybody. So maybe drop him a line, send him something.
Just say hi.
Yeah. Hey, we're rooting for you, buddy. We believe in you, or, keep your head up, whatever the case may be, dude, because he's a human at the end of the day. And Roof Trollz is fun, but, this is someone's life for 8 years inside of jail. Although we did have some fun with the questions, but he's a funny dude, is just in a bad spot. And I'm very thankful he took the time out to be on our podcast.
Yeah, man. Super grateful. Again, Joe, if you get him getting to hear this, we appreciate your time. And yeah, if you guys can head over to his site, we'll make sure we have it linked here below somewhere, and just give him a shout out, do what you can. But Elijah, what do you always say at the end?
Yep, we're out of here on this one, guys. So as usual, see you on the next one.